Welcome back to the Matter of Facts podcast on the Prepper Broadcasting Network. We talk prepping, guns, and politics every week on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Go check out our content at mwfpodcast.com on Facebook or Instagram. You can support us via Patreon or by checking out our affiliate partners. I'm your host, Phil Rabalais. Andrew and Nick are on the other side of the mic, and here's your show. Welcome back to Matter of Facts podcast. I was this close to not turning our video on time because I was goofing off with the wives, who are both in the chat with Raggle, who's not a wife.
Fantastic.
That I'm aware of.
Well, you never know. It's the first time for everything.
2026. I'm not here to judge. Not even here to ask questions. Don't ask, don't tell is not just an Army policy. It is a policy with this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's a little bitty topic and then a big topic that's carryover from last week. So last week, I wouldn't say we roasted Nick's stuff. We critiqued it.
Yeah,
we gave our feedback.
I think it was a fair, fair critique.
And I don't think we were like unfair. Although you're drinking bourbon this time, so you might be unfair to me by the end of this, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't think I'll be wildly out of pocket with any calls unless you've slipped in some silliness there.
No, I mean no more than usual.
I mean, I am off work tomorrow, so
I am off of work, but not off of duty. I have things to do in the morning.
I have to dig a trench.
I don't have to do anything near that unpleasant.
It's all right. It won't be too bad.
I have to go to a hospital to bring someone to and from a outpatient procedure.
That's no fun.
No,
hopefully it goes well.
Not as bad as digging a trench, but not fun.
Well, I mean, depends on the hospital. I mean, I've dug some fun trenches before.
It's not I don't think there are fun hospitals.
Yeah.
Anyway, so admin work, mini topic, big topic. If you'd like to promote bad decisions by becoming a patron, that link is in the show description. You too can promote bad decisions, bad spending habits, horrible efforts towards retirement savings, potentially silly things purchased that will, maybe slightly delay renovation aspirations, those sorts of things.
We shall see.
We shall see. If you'd rather buy merch for the Vibes for the Southern Gals, that link is also in the show description, and it won't touch your pocketbook near as badly as a set of night vision. So, buy a shirt and save some money.
Yes.
I would say that's the prepper equivalent of girl math. You'll have to give it to me.
You can.
And if you'd like to prevent war crimes with Disaster Coffee, use code MOF. This is Disaster Coffee in my cup. Actually, no, I'm lying. This is not. This is leftover Dunkin' Donuts. Because
you actually drink that?
Okay,
Good
so
Lord.
not from the store, like we purchased the ground coffee, Dunkin' Donuts.
It's not even good, and I love terrible coffee.
Well, okay, so that was Mrs. MOF that picked that up because we were getting ready to blast out of town last weekend, and I worked until literally like an hour and a half before we left, and I just didn't have the time to roast a batch coffee and grind it and pack it. So I told her, like, just pick up coffee. It'll be fine.
That's fair.
It was fine. It wasn't as good as Disaster Coffee, and I have now fixed that problem because I just got through roasting a batch this afternoon from the 35 pounds that are on the shelf back there.
Delicious.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to be a post-apocalyptic warlord one day, I have to have the thing necessary to keep all the minions under my control.
That reminds me, I found a tea bush that will grow in Illinois. It's a flowering tea bush. I might plant some tea.
You should also potentially consider growing chicory.
Chicory doesn't have caffeine in it. It just tastes vaguely like coffee.
Very vaguely, if you've ever drank it.
I have not, but I've heard it's somewhat vaguely coffee-like.
It's an acquired taste. Kind of like Louisiana heat in the summer. It's an acquired taste.
An acquired heat stroke, I see.
Yes. Jim Rawls saying, I tried andouille sausage this week. What is wrong with you Cajuns? Yuck. Oh, Jim, I'm so freaking disappointed.
All right, that's fighting words, Jim. I am not a Cajun, but I love that sausage. That's good sausage right there.
So I will say, I will say, andouille is a very acquired taste. Like, I personally love it. I am banned from bringing it into this house because my wife says I smell like andouille sausage for like a week after I eat it.
Really? Oh, I love it. It's fantastic.
Oh, it is. It definitely is. Dr. Scary Guy, how dare you suggest substituting chicory for anything with caffeine? I mean, I am the person who likes to promote bad decision making.
That is a bad decision. Consider it promoted.
Yeah, and Jim Raw saying, I love the red beans and rice. Okay, I mean, I'll let you slide on the andouille as long as we have the red beans and rice.
I put it in my red beans and rice.
That's what it's meant for.
Good, because that's what I use it for. Well, that, and I made a sandwich out of it the one day. That was a good call.
That was. All right, so let's have a discussion before we have discussion. Silencer Shop versus BATFE. Will the NFA go down? Before we give predictions, I do just have to say that the freaking memes on social media have
glorious.
Been lit the last couple of days. Holy
Phenomenal.
Sweet baby Jesus in the manger. Have the memes been on freaking point? Every goon, every freaking LARPer, every gun advocate, every single person in the gun space right now is salivating over the idea that we just might see the NFA struck down nationwide.
Man, all I'm saying is the reason I'm digging a trench is to power a mill in my garage. So if the NFA goes away, boy's going to play in the garage.
I mean, I already told you that if you decide to go into business making certain things, you might need an angel investor, and I might know some people who'd be interested.
I also know some people who are interested. I've got a few different guys that I'm in touch with up here.
We probably know a lot of the same guys.
Some very similar guys, but I know some very similar guys that happen to have a fully equipped live tooling CNC department full of lathes and free time. They're not working 3 shifts yet.
Jim Rawls is being the naysayer already, saying the court decision sounds great, but it's not happening.
All right, here's what you want to know. What I see happening? I see the Supreme Court going, it's Congress's responsibility. That's honestly what I see happening, and they'll say Congress has already spoken because Congress did their job. Now, I don't see the NFA going away in its entirety. I could see them striking down suppressors. I could see them striking down short-barreled rifles and shotguns. I do not see this Supreme Court siding with gun owners and saying machine guns for everyone. I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. Suppressors, I think, are a very hard thing to argue against at this point because, look, the reason why they really got banned back in the day was 2 things. It was 1, organized crime, and 2, poaching. Poaching being the biggest one that sold that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be realistic here. Most poachers, they weren't using suppressors. It was the argument that they used, though. So,
yeah.
I mean, most poachers nowadays are using either crossbows out of season, crossbows all year round, or unsuppressed rifles all year round in areas where there's just not enough police presence to deter it.
Yeah. So, kind of my thought process on this is like, first of all, bearing in mind that I am the guy who looks at every single gun law and says we already have a gun law that trumps all of these, and it's written by a bunch of old guys in the in the Bill of Rights.
Frigates for everyone.
Yeah, but all that being said, I personally have said on numerous occasions I don't think I will live long enough to see the NFA go away.
Yeah, I would love to be wrong.
I have so phenomenally little faith in this Supreme Court or any Supreme Court, and I know as Stewart listens to this after the fact, he is already just furiously working his little thumbs to get a response together about all the historical reasons why I'm wrong. But this is like an emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
I have no faith in this Supreme Court.
Me either.
I have no faith in this Congress. I have no faith in this White House. I have no faith in any of these politicians because the God's honest truth is there is literally almost no one in power today who really wants to see Billy Joe and Jim Bob, or Leroy and Daryl running around with freaking with suppressed short barrel machine guns.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody really wants to see the common man armed with anything even approximating military grade firearms.
Well, look at all the surveillance companies that are now hiring massive multinational security firms for armed security for all their executives because of how terrible the anti-flock sentiment and anti-Palantir and all those other stuff is. Even like the AI data centers, all the companies that are putting up those things are starting to hire armed security for their executives all the time because they're terrified of how much we're saying, fuck you, go away.
So 2 things. Dr. Scary Guy, you're a somebody.
But you're
I
not
did say
in power.
I did say almost no one.
Yeah.
Almost no one. I'm willing to allow for the fact that there are a few freaking insane psychopaths out there that believe like I do that you should be able to buy RPGs out of a vending machine with no background check, no friggin' tax stamps, and none of that friggin' nonsense. I should be able to friggin' build a minigun in my garage if I know how to put one together, and everyone else can just go to hell if they don't like that. That's what the Second Amendment means to me, and it is the reason why I spent years shut out of the Second Amendment community at large, because I was too extreme. But my opinion hasn't shifted.
No.
In 20 years, I believe exactly what I did back then, but the Overton window of gun owners has also shifted in my direction.
You know what I think really shifted it?
Several things.
Okay.
First of all, COVID.
No, I think it's earlier than that.
Well, hold on. COVID, okay. Summer of Love.
Yeah, that's one.
And even though this is not a recent event, I still to this day believe that a combination of Ruby Ridge and Waco, in concert with every other time, including more recently, where someone got their door kicked in over an NFA violation and got shot, or got hemmed up, or their family members got hurt. I think that's happened enough times in history that now gun owners are waking up to the fact that, like, there are no good gun laws. Every time somebody says we need another gun law for common sense and safety, we wind up getting run over by it. What do you think?
I think it was GWAT. Because what we had Desert Storm 1, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Afghanistan, all of that.
Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom.
All of them. All of GWAT. What we have is an entire generation of individuals who were, from the time I was like 14, 15. Actually, no, I was like 11 when we first started the invasion.
Jesus Christ, Nick.
So for the last 25 years, we've been sending 18-year-olds overseas in mass with fully automatic weapons, sniper rifles, grenade launchers, fucking tanks.
I was 21 when I deployed.
Exactly. We have been sending young people in mass overseas for the first time really in mass since Vietnam. And it was seen as at least acceptable. Not popular necessarily, but acceptable that we were there doing it. And we all watched them do all that cool guy shit. And we also, why can't I? I'm 35. Why does a 17-year-old get to have a 40 millimeter grenade launcher? And I can't.
So I don't agree with anything you say, but Dr. Scary Guy just hit on what I was thinking. It's not just GWAT.
I think it's the combination of the two. That's the other factor right there.
It's the fact that, like, because bear in mind, I deployed I officially deployed. I was boots on the ground in OIF 2. So I was in country during 2004 when the assault weapons ban expired. Or sunsetted. So I was in that generation that literally was playing with M16s in the desert, came home, and all of a sudden these things were freaking legal again for the first time in 10 years.
And you guys all had experience with them.
A lot.
It's a combination of the two. You have a massive, fully televised war with all the people coming back with experience with those arms, and a small amount of deregulation at the same time.
So and one in which my generation was heavily overrepresented in those engagements.
Absolutely.
Like there's a lot of GWAT vets that are between like 40 and 50 right now because we were that prime age range where like we were 18 to 24 years old when that was going on.
Hell, a lot of the guys I graduated high school with that went into the military, they all did time in Iraq and Afghanistan. Not all of them in combat. In fact, most of them were not in combat, but they did time overseas.
Yeah.
And when they came home, the first thing they did when they got out of the military, AR-15 ammo plate carrier. That's what they did.
So one other thing, Raggle asked earlier, are machine guns still taxed?
They are. So are SBRs and SBSs. Suppressors are not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I am firmly in the boat of I don't have any faith in anyone that has the ability to rule this one way or the other. And I live to be proven wrong.
Oh, yeah. I would love nothing more than taking my 22 caliber Gatling gun plans and just hooking a motor to that. Because fuck you. This is silly and I love it.
I would love to be proven wrong. I will happily go on social media and like eat my plate of crow publicly and happily with ketchup and salt and
fine.
pepper.
I'm wrong.
I will be the happiest wrong mother effer you've seen in podcasting.
Dual wielding looties.
But at the end of the day, I just can't bring myself, as much as I enjoy the memes, they've been fire.
Great.
As much as I enjoy sticking the middle finger up to the anti-gunners and rubbing it in their faces and be like, oh, look what's about to happen, just to watch them come unglued.
Oh, yeah.
It's good, clean fun.
Oh,
yeah. It's not much, but it's honest work. But I just can't bring myself to believe it's really going to happen because I just don't think there's that many people in this country that really and truly want everybody to have the kind of guns I think everybody should have. Even people in the Second Amendment community, dude, get a little uncomfortable when you start talking about groups of people they don't think should have guns having lots of guns.
Well, let's be very honest. There's still a very big section of the elder 2A community that's really fucking racist. Like
and if not outright racist, very classist, very ageist.
Oh, most definitely.
Very much like, I can have guns, but the young folks shouldn't.
I can have machine guns because I grew up with them and I know how to do it and I know how to handle it. Buddy, you're 75 with cataracts. You can't even fucking see to the end of your driveway.
My personal favorite, I can have machine guns because I had to pay $50,000 for these things.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
what about my investment? Fuck your investment.
Yeah, that's like saying that I hope the housing market never corrects because my
grandfather said that exact sentence. The housing market cannot crash because my retirement will be gone.
Do you know what I told my wife? If the housing market does correct, and if our house dumps 30% of its value, guess what?
We're fine.
I've been making extra payments on this SOB to build up a lot of equity in it, and my equity position is still pretty shored up. And guess what's going to happen if my house loses 30% of its value? So does everybody else's.
Great. We're all in the same boat again.
Yeah. When the tide goes up, all the boats go up. When the tide goes down, all the boats go down. That's how the economy works, boys and girls. The only way you get pinched by that scenario is if you're way over leveraged more than you should be. And if I have to explain to you why that is, you should have a financial advisor that knows more than I do.
You probably should. And even if we don't have to explain that to you, you should have a financial advisor. They're really not that expensive. If you have a 401k, an IRA, or any other kind of retirement account through work, the company that your job has that retirement portfolio through has financial advisors. You are an existing customer. When we went to talk to ours, it was $500. It was $500 for from now till forever of them dealing with us for that because we have our retirement account through them. And as long as we have that account, we never have to pay another dime for financial advice.
Yeah.
$500 is pretty cheap. He helped me move some things around. Those investments have already more than made back that $500 and extra, quite a bit extra.
Funny how that works.
Oh,
yeah. Couple things we got to address. Adamson Video, I also don't care about their investments. You, me, and everybody don't care. If all these old people's freaking M60s are suddenly worth reasonable money tomorrow, hallelujah.
Great.
Let's see here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Jeff Jag. If it does, I'll have a vid of me, President Camachoing Ludies within the month.
Fuck yeah.
I will superimpose a President Camacho's head over yours and put that on our social media.
Mm-hmm. It's going everywhere.
That would be freaking outlandishly funny. And Raggle Fraggle, their wealth doesn't supersede our rights. Unfortunately, in this country, sometimes it feels that way.
In every country, it does. It is that way. Look, let's be real here. Anything that comes with a fine just means it's legal for a fee.
Always important words to live by.
Oh, you poisoned millions of people. $20 million fine. So $20 million fine, I can poison millions of people is what you're telling me.
Perfectly. Okay, you ready to... Are you ready for part 2 of Roast My Shit?
Rate the stuff.
Rate my shit, roast my shit. I mean, it just really depends on which way you want to go with this.
The rules. 1 to 5. Okay.
2 scores, 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Rate for practical and for cool, 2 separate scores.
All right. I can do this.
I'm going to present to you my work EDC, which is going to have an interesting curveball thrown into it that you might see coming, you might not.
I got an idea.
The man purse / PCC, the do everything, and use car money on a helmet.
Oh, I love that part.
Yeah, I'm sure you do because you didn't have to spend it.
That's exactly why I love it.
And there's a point I want to make here because you brought up brand loyalty and why you're not brand loyal.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw one in here that's going to be controversial. Not all Chinesium is junk and not everyone needs pro gear.
Agreed.
I'm just going to tell you, personally, I always subscribe to the idea that like having something that is good enough and gets you training is usually a lot better than having like, the top tier hype beast, whatever bull crap someone on Instagram is shilling today. I would rather you have airsoft stuff, which let's call what it is. Most of your Chinese nylon goods on Amazon are not that bad these days.
They are not NIR rated. They are not.
Well, that's freaking horrible. I guess I just won't be able to fight the Chinese when they paratroop into my backyard.
Right. I mean, look, thermals will be a problem for you. Infrared reflectivity will be a problem for you.
I'll just cover myself in mud. It'll be all right. Work for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Work for me too.
Unless you are fighting a near peer adversary with nods and thermals, it does not matter.
But in my use case, I am much more likely to have to fight against a bunch of people trying to loot my house.
Random bangers with Glock 19s, probably.
And if they are running around with aviation grade PVS 14s on their heads, I have a whole different set of problems to deal with.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of problems.
But like I said, that is semi-controversial. Like this is coming on the tail end of like us talking about how good Rebel Raider stuff is for the money. Fantastic. I love his equipment. It is absolutely like top tier stuff for bottom tier prices.
Value to performance is very peak with his stuff.
But I don't ever advocate buying the cheapest thing out there, but I also don't recommend that a person just sit on their money until you could afford the best of the best. Because if it's like the argument of a high point. If buying a high point because it's what you can afford today and it makes you able to defend yourself and your family today, that's better than saving your money for 6 months to get a Glock 19.
Yeah, that's
much better gun. Not arguing that point, but you have no gun for 6 months. That's not necessarily a plus.
It's the same argument that I have. I find that I have all the time with people that go on and on about the truck gun thing or the truck gun PCC or whatever, truck rifle. Look, man, the gun that you have on your hip beats the gun that's wherever the fuck else that's not on your side right now. Because at the very least, you can throw down covering fire and get the shit out the way.
All right, let's start working through this. I don't know if that Matter of Fact's logo on the screen is going to be in the way.
Slightly.
It might actually be.
Slightly.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to nix that, and everybody knows what show this is. If you don't know what show you're watching, that's your fault.
It is.
Okay, so the work EDC, no guns allowed. Because as much as I would love to tell all of you out there that like we have a right to carry guns wherever we want and yada, 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 I and a lot of people work in places where bringing a gun into your workplace won't just get you fired, it will get you prosecuted.
Yeah, that's one of those risk reward scenarios we've discussed before where the everyday risk is considerably higher than the possible payoff.
Yes. So, my work EDC is, incidentally enough, this little bitty pocket knife, because there's a specific provision in my workplace's rules where you can have a pocket knife with a blade less than 2.5 inches.
Perfect. It is
And this
weapon of some kind.
Is 2 3/8 of an inch. It's a little bitty Gerber paraframe.
Dude, the Gerber paraframe's a great knife. I'm still pissed I lost mine.
I like it because it's a classy looking little knife. I keep this thing like a razor blade.
Yep.
And mostly it's for it literally mostly for utility use, but in the pinch, it's a knife.
Hey man, any knife's better than no knife.
I'm pulling stuff out of my pocket because I carry it all the time. Streamlight ProTac 1L.
Nice.
This is a dual fuel, so you can use CR123s or AA's, and I keep spare batteries in my work bag all the time.
Good.
And in my truck, and on the shelf, and in the safe. And pretty much anywhere I go, I've got CR123s close at hand. A mainstay ration, because there has been a time where I was at work until like 9:30 at night because we had a bomb threat called in the facility. And when that happened, they locked the place down. No one's allowed to leave. So I was supposed to go home at 3:30 that afternoon, and I was there till 9:30 at night. So forever and ever after that, I make sure I've got a mainstay ration on me. So I've got like 3,000 plus calories on hand in case I need it.
Not a bad call.
26-ounce camel bag that actually stays in my desk. Baofeng UV5R Mini, because backup comms are a beautiful thing if cell phones go down, and I know that I can take that Baofeng and I can hit the Lacombe repeater that's not too far from my house from my workplace, from that third story. So if the cell phones went out, my wife were to grab any one of these radios and then just really power it on, because they all stay dialed to the Lacombe repeater, I can reach her on that.
Nice.
Power brick and a charging cable, because the Baofeng can charge off USB-C, my phone can charge off a USB-C, and that is going to be my primary communications device, is my phone.
Right.
Dramamine, Imodium, Excedrin. Dramamine and Imodium, because if you have a case of up chucks or down chucks, a double dose of that will help mitigate that long enough for me to get home, get done what I need to get done. Excedrin, because migraines are a bastard. Single-use super glue, because in a pinch, if you have, really anything from like a broken zipper in your clothing to a button that decides to pop off to a cut or something, you would normally get a stitch put in. Band-aids, alcohol pads, shears, gauze 4x4, steri strips, chest seals, cat tourniquet, cohesive bandage, quick cloth sponge, and roller gauze.
Nice.
All of that stays in my work bag, which is usually like 2 feet to my left, or at the very most, I am never more than like 25, 30 feet away from that bag at all times. But now this is the stuff that comes to work with me every day, comes home with me every day. And it is there to make sure that, if there's a really weird situation, I have some bare minimum, trauma stuff to deal with it. But more than anything, there's a lot of stuff in here that's like comfort, owies, Bobos, because I work a 9-hour shift and I work an hour away from home. So like if I suddenly get a case of down chucks or up chucks, I need to make it stop.
And an hour drive home is a long drive home some days.
Yeah.
All right.
So practical, cool. I expect a 1 for cool because there's nothing here that's cool.
I'm gonna go practical first. I'm gonna go practical. I'm gonna give you a 4. You're losing 1 point. You've got the water bladder in there, but you've got no way to filter or purify the water.
True.
So I'm gonna give you a 4 on practical. I'm gonna give you a 2 on cool for 2 reasons. One, you know how to use all of this shit. You know how to use every single piece of this. And understanding your gear is always a little bit cool. And I did not know those new mini radios charge off a USB-C. That's fucking awesome. That's fantastic. You don't have to have a separate weird random ass charger to recharge that thing. It can all work off a power brick. That's awesome.
And actually, the bigger green Baofangs I have, the GM15 Pros that are GMRS only, those also charge off a USB-C.
Dude, that's sweet. That is so much nicer than all the random ass chargers.
All of my HTs charge off a USB-C straight into the battery.
I might have to upgrade.
Dude,
having that other style of charger is just a pain in the ass to bring with you.
It is, and it is the reason why, like, so everyone in the gun community's heard the gag of, like, does it take Glock mags?
Right.
It's kind of funny, but it's kind of true at the same time.
It's a 12 gauge. Does it take Glock mags?
Yes. I'm going to tell you that in the radio world, HTs, if it doesn't take a freaking USB-C to charge, to me, it's freaking useless. Like, it's too easy to integrate into the goddamn battery. It works too well. It's too ubiquitous. Just put a freaking USB-C port in the damn battery and quit screwing around with whatever proprietary bullcrap you're using to charge your radios today. All you manufacturers, if you refuse to put, I am part of the USB-C supremacy gang at this point. If you refuse to put USB-Cs in your radios, I will dog them out forever.
Yeah, it's at this point, there's really no excuse. There's no excuse other than greed. That's really all it is.
So yeah, Dr. Scary Guy say you can buy USB-C batteries for the UB5R. That is true. They do make them now.
I will be buying those batteries this weekend.
But the the UB5R Mini is also airband capable.
Ooh. But I have no use for airband.
Oh, bruh, you can't. No.
I have no interest in planes other than not having them
should.
fall on me.
They fly above your head.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do, but most of the time they're flying the fuck somewhere else.
Okay, so to be fair, I have a regional airport like 3/4 of a mile maybe from my workplace. The building regularly gets buzzed with traffic that's making the pattern.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we have a local single engine airport that's downtown from me, but I think 3 planes a week leave there. It's a crop duster and these 2 old bastards that fly show planes around.
Yeah. Dr. Scary Guy say, consider a small crank charger for when the batteries are dead. I mean, that's not unfair. I
don't like them. I don't like them.
I lean in this direction because, like, this is not a kit for I'm going to be stranded for 3 days. This is a kit largely centered around the idea that it really is just there to make sure that I am comfortable and provided for until it's time to drive home.
Yep, that's fair. Look,
worst case scenario, if like my car is disabled or something weird happens and I have to hold up for like, you know, a longer period of time until someone can come into town and grab me and bring me home. I have 3,200 calories sitting there in a mainstay ration and all the water that comes through the friggin' building, which is already filtered.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if Phil, have you ever used one of those crank radios or crank chargers in general?
Yes, they're freaking obnoxious.
They take so goddamn long to do anything. I would rather have a second battery pack than that because of just the convenience. Because then I don't have to sit there and just wind away for a couple of hours. I mean, a small solar panel like the solar panel I was gifted by one of our patrons for Secret Santa does a way faster job.
And it's also worth pointing out that, like, as long as the building is powered, I have a friggin' USB charger sitting on my desk.
And you have a generator set on the building, don't you?
There is a generator for the emergency systems for the whole campus.
Okay. So there'll be theoretically power you could tap into.
Yeah. So this power bank is really a backup to a primary that has a backup. So I feel okay about it.
I think it's fair.
Okay. So a 4 and a 2.
Giving you a 4 and a 2.
I'll take it. Next up. Scorpion and Merce. Bag gun, truck gun. I call it a Merce because
it's a Merce.
Stuart's been calling it man purse ever since I built the silly thing, and I can't break him of the habit, so I'm just giving up with everybody else. So CZ Scorpion, I actually meant to and totally friggin' didn't remember to look up that light manufacturer. That is, I do know it's a Streamlight, and I want to say it's their white light and IR light.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And IR laser all in one.
Neat.
It's not a particularly high performing IR laser or IR illuminator, but it does have that capability. It works with my night vision if ever I decide to employ the two together. I've got a red dot on the top, and I can still kind of use the irons if the red dot goes down. Okay. So there is that. It's kind of a weird position to have the light like on the bottom of the handguard like that. That is actually strictly done to keep the width of the firearm down.
That's
for
fair.
storage.
Yeah.
Because if I had the light on the side, now the whole thing's wider.
Oh, it's a lot wider. Do you have a folder on that?
Folding
that pistol brace?
Yes.
Is that folder? I wonder if you put the light on the same side as the pistol brace when it's folded down, you're going to get a similar width profile.
About that, but in the place this is normally stored, I store it with the pistol brace fully extended, so that keeping the width to the minimum is in my best interest.
Fair enough.
I keep it stored with a 20 round magazine. The Merce, the man purse, has 3 30 round magazines in it, along with 2 15 round magazines for my daily carry. And Israeli bandage, quick clot gauze 4x4s, cohesive bandage, and a cat tourniquet.
Nice.
Basic blowout kit type of stuff. The idea behind this was like you and I talked about the fact that like I don't do bag guns like most people do bag guns, where it's like a gun in a messenger bag that you go to get your Starbucks with.
Right.
My version of bag gun is like hotel gun.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 4 or 5 hours away from home. I really would feel better if I had a little more than 1 9mm and 1 extra magazine. I'd like to have a little bit more firepower, and a Scorpion is like the perfect middle ground for me of definitely more capabilities than a handgun, uses the same ammunition as the handgun, which is a happy meal all by itself.
It is.
I don't have to carry 2 kinds of ammunition. I mean, having magazine cross compatibility where I could like use Glock mags and both of them would be kind of fun, but
it would.
In this case, the Scorpion is a really reliable firearm. It's dead simple. It's straight blowback. The magazines are freaking stellar. I've never had a function problem out of this thing. And the Merce is the attempt to have like the things I would normally have on a chest rig in a non-tactical looking form factor. Because I can literally sling this thing around my, over my neck, crossbody like a messenger bag, have it up against my side, and it doesn't look like a chest rig. It doesn't look like a plate carrier.
Have the PCC under your jacket. Standard executive protection kind of idea.
I mean, I've literally run this thing before where I had the brace folded and it was up against my chest with the sling really, really choked up short, so it stayed nice and high, and I had it underneath a coat.
Yeah.
And no one had any freaking clue.
No, absolutely not. No. All right. So can you, now I don't know this, so I'm going to ask, can you HK slap the Scorpion? Because this will impact your score.
Yes. You can 10 out of 10, pull the charger handle to the rear and then rock it up to the top and then drop in a magazine and HK slap it.
Okay, that's a 5 cool because you get a +1 for being able to HK slap it. That's always a +1 cool. I'm going to give it a 4 practical.
Better than I thought I would.
I'm going to give it a 4 practical. And the reason why I'm not giving it a 5 is because I fucking hate bags like that. I hate wearing them. I hate carrying them. I don't know. I have tried those sling style bags before. They were all the rage when I was in high school. And I tried them, and my God, they were just always in the fucking way.
Okay, so let me ask, because it's hard to tell from this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is one of those like crossbody bags that like, because this is literally like a
it's like a messenger bag that would sit down by your hip and the strap would be across most of your body, right? Like an old school like Army messenger dispatch bag.
This is literally an old Army surplus. I think it was technically like a mat bag or like a document bag.
Yeah, like a courier bag kind of thing almost.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you take the bag off, hand it off to the next guy, he goes. Yep. I cannot stand using those. But my God, there's nothing in here that isn't practical for the purpose you're going for. Except I just hate those bags.
I mean, fair, but for the sake of argument, what would you use instead? Not chest rig. That's the key here, is I'm trying not to have chest rig, tactical looking stuff.
I would probably go, and this is less practical, but more comfortable to me, I would probably go mag in pocket, extra mags in backpack.
Backpack is another perfectly good hood. I mean, and look,
With
you can get a
1 to
freaking
2
used
mags in a
JanSport for
pocket.
$15.
Right. I mean, look, these Scorpion mags are small enough. I bet you can find it inside the waistband pouch for those Scorpion mags. Your torso is a mile long, dude.
Why you got to dog on me about my torso being tall? We all know that I'm
plenty of torso room to stick those mags up your torso a little bit.
I mean, listen, just because I could friggin' appendix carry a friggin' RPG-7 doesn't mean I have a tall torso.
You do, and you could.
Someone's gonna meet me in person one day and be like, "You don't look that tall," and I'm gonna
wait
be
till
like,
he sits down. He doesn't get any shorter.
He just said I had a tall torso. I have little bitty legs. I'm like an upside down T-Rex.
Right? I think I'm I'm like 4 or 5 inches taller than you until we sit down. Then I'm shorter.
Yeah, it is the weirdest experience on Earth. And I've been shaped like this like my entire adult life and still don't understand how it happened.
Oh, it's weird. Biology's cool.
I'm pretty convinced that like I'm a dwarf and I'm just waiting for the magic to reactivate and then I'll shrink down to my normal size.
Do you think you could fit a second tourniquet in there, Phil? That'd be the only other thing. Because sometimes I have heard, now granted, I don't have any experience with this myself other than using a tourniquet one time on a work accident victim.
You're thinking like a really big muscular thigh and one tourniquet not being sufficient.
Dude, you're a muscular dude. If you take one in the upper thigh, I've heard of people needing up to 4 on a leg wound.
Not unfair. I had I do, it's on the list to just bulk order a bunch more cat tourniquets.
They do expire, by the way.
They do.
They do go bad over time. Nylon does die just by existing. Most plastics do.
I will say that I'd kind of always, so bearing in mind that like I am in that narrow generation of military veterans where we were pretty well taught to use an Israeli bandage like a tourniquet if one was not available.
It can make do, and so can your belt, but a cat tourniquet is way faster.
Can't disagree with that. I mean, and that's
for the cost of them, they're what, like $35 now, I think.
I thought they were up to 40.
They might be up to 40. Still, I dropped 50 on one because they're extremely effective and very easy to use with extremely little training.
Yeah.
Especially if you stage it appropriately.
Before we move on, back up.
You got one in there.
It's not very visible here, but it is visible here. You can see how a lot of that medical equipment is actually vacuum bagged together.
Yeah. Cut a notch in it.
This is a thing I tend to do with a lot of my kits is I take it, I vacuum bag it together. I don't suck it down like super, super tight, but enough to get most of the air out.
Yeah.
And then I will cut a slit in the side, like not all the way past where it crimps together, but just enough that you can like rip it open barehanded.
Yep.
It's something I do more than anything just to keep like humidity away from it. And if
especially
the whole
where
bag
you are.
Yeah, well, and if the whole bag gets submerged, then at least my medical equipment stays dry.
Yeah, because the tourniquet will still be fine soaking wet. I mean, you'll get a little more stretch out of the nylon, but not enough to matter.
Yeah, but to me, it's just it's a small thing, and it also means I can pull that whole thing out, and it's all self-contained.
Yep.
All right. Next up, the do everything. The GPR with expensive bolt-ons.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the 16-inch carbine I built forever ago. Aero Precision Lower, M4 Enhanced Upper, which I don't know if you and I have ever talked about, or you're aware of what the difference is between your standard Aero Precision Upper and the Enhanced Upper.
Yep.
So for the audience that isn't aware, the Enhanced Uppers use a proprietary arrangement around the barrel nut, whereas normally you have like outside threads and the barrel nut screws onto the outside, and then your handguard usually attaches to that barrel nut. With the M4 Enhanced Uppers, that junction point is actually beefed up. The barrel nut goes inside the upper and has outside threads, and it screws down, and then the handguard, if you get the proprietary Aero handguard, attaches directly to the upper. I really like it too. I will say that it is It is a bit heavier than a standard arrangement. I get a lot less flex out of the handguard like this, which is kind of important if you're going to be mounting a laser on the extreme end of the friggin' forend. And it's freaking tough. It hasn't given me any problems. The only downside to it is you're kind of locked into proprietary arrow precision stuff, which is not a downside if you like it. And yes,
it's not a downside except they're dead.
Rip arrow precision, but that's fine. That just means I'm going to keep this forever.
If you ever need a different upper, it's 2 pins, new upper. Go forth and shoot more stuff.
Yeah,
I mean it's not like you lose the firearm because of that. The upper is a consumable part when it comes to fires.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, like, I'll be honest at this point, like if I had an issue that could be corrected, like the rear charging handle latch that's built into the upper started to wear out, I would find somebody that could weld aluminum and just like put a little dollop there and machine it down. Like I would do what I had to do to keep this thing together.
You'd be shocked how long it will take you to wear out that upper, because I have, Phil, we've brought this up before. I am an above average consumer of bullets. The only upper I have ever destroyed was on a Springfield XDM, and I cracked the slide at the frame rail.
Hoofta.
Well, it was on its third barrel. You know, it had been shot quite a lot.
A couple of times.
Yeah, I was told that was not considered a typical defect for manufacturing or regular use by Springfield. They would not warranty that slide.
No, can't say I blame them.
No, given the wear that was on the slide, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So back to this 16-inch Faxon gunner profile barrel, which I'm a bit of a Faxon whore. I like their gunner profile. I think it's the Goldilocks barrel because you get like lots and lots and lots of beef all the way out to the gas block. And then from the gas block to the end of the barrel where rigidity is not as much of an issue, they shrink it down to a pencil barrel to give you a little bit.
You don't have so much weight out front.
Yeah, the engineering term is polar moment of inertia, meaning if you save a pound on the extreme end of a lever arm, it has more impact on how fast the gun swings versus if you save a pound at the pivot point.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really nerdy. It doesn't really apply to firearms much.
It doesn't.
But it's one of those things where
to run it.
I'll tell you this much: if you're trying to friggin' save weight, that's the place to save weight on a barrel and not impact the performance much.
I agree.
Toolcraft C158 bolt, just because Toolcraft makes good stuff and it was cheaper than every other option that had a brand name on it at the time. ALG Defense Trigger Group, because I wasn't in the mood to spend Geisley money.
Yeah, that's fair.
ALG
is decent.
I've shot the snot out of this ALG Defense, and I really don't. This is I want to say their ACT, their Advanced Combat Trigger, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
it's like the OEM plus, mil spec trigger. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Jeff has a good question. Wonder how many barrels, bolts, and gas tubes you'd replace before you'd have to replace an upper. Jeff, I don't know that I've ever heard of someone wearing out an upper, and the Marine Corps has tried.
I have heard of a few people wearing out uppers, and usually it's exactly what I talked about before. It's the charging handle starts to just jump loose because that little nub where the latch grabs starts to wear smooth.
But that's
after
weldable.
That is after years and years and years and years and years and many, many, many barrels and gas tubes. Like that's a gun that's been taken apart, reassembled multiple times.
The gun of Theseus, as it were.
Yes. Okay. Vortex red dot magnifier. Nothing really fantastic about them. It's a Strike Fire 2 and a 3X magnifier. It's fine.
Solid.
It does fine. Holosun LS321, because at the time I put this together, the Holosun Iris had not come out yet. I toy with the idea of upgrading to that, but it's kind of one of those things of like, what I have is fine and it works, and it's like $800 I'd rather put towards a chronograph.
Yeah. You gain more spending that money elsewhere at this point.
Yeah. Arasaka Light, which was not cheap, but I will just say, like, total shout out to Arasaka Defense. If you are in the need or in the want for a really nice weapon light, before you buy Surefire, before you buy anything, go to Arasaka and just look through that tool they use where you can pick the body you want, the head you want, the tail cap, the this, the that, and that, and just look at what you can put together yourself. Because what I have here is a Malkoff Devices head. I want to say it's Arasaka's own body, which is compatible with either a pair of CR123s or a 16650 battery.
I like the 16650.
I like the 16650. I wouldn't have been opposed to an 18650, except that body is not compatible with CR123s. And since I'm so heavily invested in CR123s and every other damn thing that's gun related,
compatibility is king in that point.
Compatibility is king. I have 4 16650s that are all USB-C rechargeable, and I keep them topped off. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't expect to have to use CR123s, but in a pinch, I like to know that the battery I use for everything else will also fit in that thing. Surefire. What is it again? It's the tail switch that takes a crane plug, but it also has the button on the back for a backup.
I don't know what that is.
I forget off the top of my head what the Surefire's nomenclature is, and I don't really care. And a Unity switch to run the light and the laser and all that crap together. Now, that's the rifle. It's got some Magpul crap on too, but nobody really cares. Howard Light Ear Pro.
Look, if you got Magpul crap on your rifle, it's basic, bitch. It always works. Love Magpul.
And that's the thing. I don't care if it's cool or not. I care that it works.
And it just works. Just so happens to also be pretty decent.
Yeah. Howard Light Ear Pro with a comms upgrade, because I'm not spending Peltor money. Not happening. Amazon chest rig, because like I said before, not all Chinesium is junk. This really hasn't proven to give me any problems yet, and it will last long enough for me to eventually upgrade in something nicer, or in a pinch, take the frickin' Vicarian and turn it into a chest rig if I really needed something.
I've thought about that.
It's possible. Okay, and in the chest rig, Baofeng radio, because this rig, you can actually see the push talk is up on one of the chest straps. It's rigged up for comms. It'll plug into that Howard Light. It'll plug into my helmet. Runs off a Baofeng. Any of the Baofengs runs off a standard K plug. This is actually the reason why I got those little short signal stuff 440 monoband antennas, because they're really, really small and they're really high quality, and they don't, come up to here on me when I'm wearing it. And spare batteries, chest seal, quick clot, 4x4s, Israeli bandage, cohesive bandage, like your basic bitch blowout kit medical stuff.
Can't go wrong.
The idea here was very simply, this is the do everything. This is, I didn't want to bring a plate carrier out because frankly, you and I have the same plate carrier, and there's only so many times I can show you how a Vicarian looks before everybody's just like, okay, Phil, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it turns out we're shills for Rebel. His shit's awesome. Deal with it.
Yeah. But in this case, this is everything I think you really need to run rifle.
Yeah.
Plus comms. Because one of the reasons I started dipping my toe so much into comms was from the standpoint of if my wife and I are in a situation where I am having to use this stuff to protect the home, I want to be able to communicate back into the house with her.
Absolutely.
And being able to do that through my cans where nobody else can hear what's being said and her talk freely to me is a plus.
Yeah. I like the Howard Lights. I had a pair for a lot of years. It now lives in my work toolbox, and I upgraded to some Peltor Sport Tacs, which I think were worth the upgrade. They give you better sound dampening. They give you better auditory awareness because they've got a microphone on both sides. I have found they do a better job of maintaining consistent volume. The Howard Lights, I've noticed, if you're having a conversation while gunfire is going off, you just get emptiness every time there's a shot. It's just cutting the audio instead of adjusting the decibel level. Does that make sense? And that's not to criticize. Their cost to benefit ratio on the Howard Lights are phenomenal. If you have a buddy you're going to take out shooting, or a buddy that's getting into shooting, and you're looking for a gift for that person for whatever, buy them a pair of Howard Lights. What are they like? They're like $50, right?
I want to say they might be less than that. And I'll be honest, I mean, the closest competitor to these things is the Walker Razors.
Yeah.
I like the Howard Lights better.
I'm not a fan of the Walker Razors for how they fit my head, because I wear glasses all the time.
So I will say that for Howard Lights or Walker razors, Amazon does sell the gel cup inserts.
The gel cups are a huge upgrade, especially the ones that have the slot for your glasses.
I find that even the ones that don't have the slot for your glasses help because they just mold around your glasses so much better.
They do. They are better than the traditional foam shells.
But I will say this much: the reason why I poke Howard Lights, if you're going to mimic this and you want to get the comms upgrade, which is another Amazon purchase,
they do have that clip-on mic boom for them, which is great.
Well, but here's the reason I push the Howard Lights, because they do make this exact same comms upgrade for Howard Lights and for Walker razors
and Peltors, I think,
and for Peltors. But what I found out was that if you use the comms upgrade on Walker razors, there's something about the way they're wired where if the battery dies in those Walker razors, you also lose your comms. But
that's a problem.
But with the Howard Lights, if the battery dies, you stop hearing the outside world, but you still hear your comms loud and clear.
I think my Peltors are the same way. If you lose your battery in the Peltors, you lose your comms. Interesting.
Now I will say this much.
That's something I've not thought about.
Now I will say this much. When I plug those up, I lose one ear.
Okay.
It's kind of trade-offs one way. It's almost like if you put the comms upgrade on, and by the way, this is plug in through the headphone port, so it's going to be the same way if you're wiring in any kind of audio.
Yeah.
But with the Howard Lights, to me at least, it really sounds like I lose that awareness in my left ear. I hear
you don't get that with the Peltors.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of like shades of user experience and also bearing in mind like price point. But for my money, the Howard Lights, the comms add-on and the gel cups, that is perfect poor man's perfect poor man Peltors.
Yeah, no, dude, they do a great job. I ran them for years, even shooting in competitions. They don't do great unless you're doubled up for like 300 Win Mag or something with a big heavy muzzle brake.
Things I don't shoot for reasons.
Yeah, things you don't shoot for reasons unless you're like giving yourself concussions, I guess.
I don't. One thing I have to include in here, and then you can rip me or gas me up.
Go for it.
Raggle said, does the height over bore bother you with that one? So here's the thing. If it weren't for the riser that's included here, which is not the easiest thing to see, that red dot and magnifier would actually be about the regular height of maybe a touch higher than a standard set of
I was going to point that out. Yep.
But there is a Bobo Engineering riser underneath that red dot.
And it's because of that little bit on the end of the rifle there.
Yeah. That's jacking the whole package up about another 3/4 of an inch. Now, I will say, and Andrew and I talked about this before when we talked about night vision. I am perfectly capable of getting a PVS 14 in behind a non-raised to the ceiling red dot. You have to crane your neck a little bit. You have to adjust your stance a little bit. Like, it can be freaking done. It is not as if you need these gigantic hype beast risers that are like 4.5 inches up off the gun. It's not that big of a freaking deal. It can be done, but I will admit that when you're in a hurry and you're trying to come up on target quickly, you will bounce your PVS 14 off the top of your rifle a lot less with a little bit of a rise.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I'm going to say it is a little bit embarrassing and a little bit uncomfortable when that vibration transmits through the end of your $4,000 piece of night vision into the helmet that is rigidly strapped to your face.
Because it should be strapped on fairly rigidly.
Yes, John Wayning this thing is not a vibe. Like, you should have the chin strap fully engaged, and in my case, I actually wear a neck gaiter under mine just to keep the beard and everything tight up against my face.
It out of everything.
Yeah, just so it doesn't get caught in the straps and I end up yanking hair out. I mean, yes, it's like it's bitch boy YouTuber problems, but it's hard to put a price on comfort.
All right,
so what you got?
I'm going to go practical 4 because you've got night vision shit on there. And for the vast majority of people, that's really not going to enter into their use case. They'd be better off with a white light weapon light, which I realize your light does that. But but the extra cost to add the IR on for most people is not worth the squeeze.
I was going to say I actually would rip myself a little harder on practicality.
Okay.
Because if you leave the light on this gun, and this is not a cheap light, but it's a very, very high performance white light. But if you leave the light on and you take off the hollow sun and the switch, you're saving yourself, like, at the time retail about $1,100.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't negate from the practicality of it a lot other than price.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's money that could be spent elsewhere for a game that most people won't get, which is why even though I have night vision, I like playing with night vision, I'm the first to admit that, like, night vision comes after a whole bunch of things.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would say for the use case that it is, for when you've got to throw something on quick, this is fantastic. For a doing chores around the house rig, it is way lighter than armor, because let's be clear, I think each of my plates is 7.5 pounds. So that's 14 pounds right. of extra weight.
You got level 4s?
Yeah, 4s, ceramics.
7.5 pounds sounds about right.
7.5 pounds a piece. So call it 15 pounds of extra weight plus the nylon, which is probably 2 pounds or so. It adds up on wear and tear on your body. It adds up for fatigue. It adds up when it's hot out, because those plates, once they get up to body temperature, guess what? Now you're just wearing a fairly heavy vest.
Anybody that reacts to body armors heavy with workout more is A, an idiot.
B, they've never worn it for 3 straight days.
Has never worn armor in a combat zone for days or weeks or months on end. Now, that shit gets heavy quick, and it don't get any lighter just because you get stronger.
I will admit, you can acclimatize yourself to wearing it to a point.
You can, but you could also not wear it and be even more in the green.
I mean, for a post-hurricane hanging out around the house chest rig, it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be user-friendly. It's going to be mostly out of your way. For a home defense rig, it's fantastic. I love it. For cool, I'm going to go 3. It's pretty cool because you got comms, and you know how to use the comms, and you have a comms plan. You got your medical kit here. I'd like to see you add another tourniquet on here. Again, I'd like to have at least 2, just because I'm a big guy. You're a big guy. Sometimes 1 is not enough. And I'm getting this from people I know that have used them in combat and have used them in emergency medicine stateside.
Not unfair at all. It's not here, and I didn't include it because I think it's kind of unnecessarily weighing the scale. But, like, the expectation is also that I would also have my war belt on if I was wearing all this, and that war belt comes with another tourniquet, a whole nother blowout kit, pistol mags.
In which case, I wouldn't ding you for it at all. I would probably give it a 4.
But this as it stands,
I'm going to call it a 3 because it's just it does the things it says on the tin with a little bit of extra stuff. You could probably get away with not having and missing a couple things I would like to see. This is the problem I see a lot with minimalist chest rigs. And I realize I am not the cool guy that goes out and does the cool guy shit, kicking doors. But almost all of them I see skimp on the medical all the fucking time. And the one thing I've always heard from Vietnam veterans up through GWAT veterans, I've never really talked to a whole lot of World War II veterans because a lot of them were dead before I was really around all this stuff, was you never, ever, ever have enough medical or ammunition.
No. 10 out of 10. Like, and this is not a criticism of micro rigs. This is a trade-off.
Yeah, it is a trade-off. It's convenience. It's convenience for capacity.
I don't even want to call it convenience. So here's the problem. In the one column, you have weight, speed, maneuverability, ability to access tight areas, ability to slide through tight areas. Like, you have all these things on one side. And on the other hand, you have in the middle of a freaking gunfight, damn all that, I want all the ammo, all the medical, all the party favors. You cannot have both equally.
No,
You got to give one to get the other. So this becomes kind of the argument about like your everyday carry. There is the gun you would like to carry because it's teeny tiny and doesn't weigh anything.
Mm-hmm. It sucks.
It sucks in a gunfight. In a gunfight, you want the big Horkin double stack 9 with the compensator, with the friggin' red dot, with the stendo mags. You want all the firepower because you really need to friggin' gun somebody down to save your life.
Yep.
But on the flip side of things, you don't want to carry this stupid thing because it's this freaking big and it weighs 3 pounds. That is the trade-off you have to make with micro rig versus chest rig versus recce rig versus plate carrier. You have to give to get. And it's just a question of like what balance point makes sense for your use case.
Oh, it absolutely does. Because of the things I've been told and the injuries I have seen people have at work, just doing homeowner shit around the house.
Yep.
I think 2 tourniquets is the minimum for a rig like this, in my opinion. Now, feel free to disagree. If your war belt has another one, great. I'm trying to find a place to put 2 more tourniquets so that I've got 4 because I've got 4 limbs on my plate carrier and belt that I usually run together. So that's my bias. But
pro tip. Everyone in the audience, raise your hand if you own a chainsaw.
Yep.
Now, put it down if you don't own a set of chainsaw chaps. If you put your hand down, you're wrong. You should go get chainsaw chaps.
And I ran without one for a long time, and I was an idiot for doing so.
First of all, they can save your leg, which is important. You only get 2 of them, and you really need them both. Second of all, they make interesting bedroom attire. Take that up with your spouse. I'm not here to judge, but if that's your kink, you should go for it. And third of all, my chaps have a pocket, and that pocket has a cat tourniquet in it because Christ forbid I ever manage to sink that freaking chainsaw into those freaking chaps and it manages to get through them. I would very much like to have a cat tourniquet literally at my disposal immediately to slip on my leg because I like having 2 legs.
That and chainsaw chaps don't cover your arms. They're chaps.
Yes. But the point is, you have a chainsaw. It's really good at removing limbs. You should have cat tourniquets.
Oh my God, it's great at removing limbs. Phil, have I ever told you what happened at the festival in a small town near me?
No, but I think my stomach is about to turn.
So there was a guy, they had a dead tree out in front of the little museum in this town, and they decided they wanted to have it chainsaw carved during the festival.
And then
guy was about 25 feet up the tree, and he slipped.
Oh,
and that chainsaw missed his chaps and went into his groin when he slipped.
Oh, Jesus.
He was not alive when they got him out of the tree.
Believable.
Cut his femoral artery with a chainsaw.
Done inside of 20 seconds.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was not present for the event. There were a lot of children present for the event. So the chaps might not always save your life, but it's better.
My wife just said, I'd rather do 2 legs, but we don't need to bring in the outwear to the bedroom, weirdo.
Well,
I mean, babe, I would not be the first husband to wear chaps to the bedroom. They just wouldn't be chainsaw chaps.
It's true.
I'm also trying to smooth talk her into the idea that like silkies and night vision on my head, that could be a bedroom vibe.
That is considered lingerie. Yeah, no, that's right.
That's male lingerie.
That fits. It's just as expensive.
She's not going to go for that.
Look, I've been trying to convince my wife to let me buy Nods for a while now so I can night snack with the dog. And she tells me that the dog's already too fat. So, I don't know. What are we going to do?
Damn. Okay. Last but not least, we all saw this coming. Obligatory night vision LARP. Ludicrously expensive. Gen 3 PVS 14, white phosphor 2300 plus FOM. And it's aviation grade, so it doesn't have a single blemish in the tube. It is what you commonly hear referred to as freaking amazing. Running this with a Wilcox G11 and Mod Armory Bayonet J-Arm because they are the only people that make an aftermarket J-Arm out of aluminum that is not a plastic piece of crap that has been like run over by a Humvee and abused severely. I couldn't say that like. So if
I should make you a titanium one.
Well, here's the thing: the Mod Armory one works fine.
But is it titanium?
I will happily say though that if I had to do this all over again and I hadn't got the Wilcox G11 for free thrown in on the deal from Andrew,
fair enough,
I would have gone and bought a dovetail compatible Wilcox and a dovetail mount, and like that would have been a much cleaner, nicer, more stable mounting solution than what I have here. But I got the G11 for free, and the Mod Armory Bayonet J-Arm works, so I'm not really upset. Team Wendy bump helmet and cover, Enforce nightlight. Now, Enforce doesn't have a great reputation when it comes to weapon lights, but I'm going to tell you that their IR and Viz light weapon light makes a really nice helmet light. It's bright enough for admin tasks, and for IR use, you can pop this thing on and like fully illuminate a room.
Nice.
What I usually do on this thing is I actually like tilt it back so it aims up at the ceiling if I'm inside a room, and flick it on, and it's like turning the light on.
Wow.
It's really useful. That is sitting on top of a Unity Remora mount, which actually mounts in line with your Peltor mounts.
Nice.
And it's sitting on another set of Howard lights, Ear Pro plus comms, the same thing that I have on a headband. I also have bastardized onto this set of Peltor mounts.
And you have bungeed your night vision appropriately.
I do recommend that you employ some bungees to help stabilize, kind of like add a little bit of preload to the night vision. It'll take all the slack out of the mount and the J-arm and everything. In this case, I run my bungee. So what I'm careful not to do is I don't put the bungee like in between the J-arm and the night vision.
Right.
I try to put it up a little bit higher, but point is it applies just a little bit of tension. And also the other thing you see on there is a homemade lanyard just made out of 550 cord.
Yeah.
It ties off to the night vision. It's got
lanyard is smart.
It's got a big Velcro pad on it. Just stick it right on the top of your helmet. And that is specifically made long enough that when I have my night vision down inside of its pouch, that lanyard is long enough to reach up and out the pouch and then tuck down into the molly on the outside of the pouch. So, because I have talked to friends of mine that ran PBS 14s in theater, I didn't. We were still using PBS 7s. But they have like opened those bags up aggressively and spit their night vision out of the bag and onto the ground.
That was expensive.
Fortunately, they take a beating. But this was an attempt to make so that if the PBS 14 does fall out of the bag, then there's a chance that the lanyard catches it before it hits the ground. And that's the only reason for having a lanyard, is that if it does pop off of its mount or something goes wrong, it dangles from your helmet instead of smashing on the ground.
Yeah, so, that would be a pretty poopy day given the cost.
So yeah, this is the obligatory night vision LARP.
Love it.
I the last time I added it all up, I think it's like 5 G's on top.
Yeah,
of the head.
I mean, it's obviously a 5 cool,
and it's ludicrously expensive.
Oh,
everything in night vision is ludicrously expensive.
It is, but it's an instant 5 cool. I mean, you can't knock it. It's fantastic. It's perfectly usable. It gives you way more capability than not having night vision does. Practical.
I might rate this lower than you would, actually.
I'm going to call it a 1 practical. I mean,
we agree on something.
It gets you into night vision, so it has some practical because it gives you a capacity you wouldn't have otherwise. But for fuck's sake, you can do so much with $5,000.
Okay, but I do have one extra slide.
All right.
Before we discuss the practical aspect of this.
God,
not shown
so cool.
Tripod and phone mount for photography and stargazing.
Yeah, that's just so cool.
So putting night vision on a helmet is Instagram cool, but about a 1 practical. But having
just everyday cool. My God.
But having a phone mount so that I can connect a literal phone to the PBS 14, put the whole thing on a tripod, point it up in the sky, and use this thing for nighttime photography.
Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Do I get a couple of extra practicality points?
I mean, you do. I'll give you 1. I'll give you 2 practical because you can do cool science shit with it. You can stargaze with it. You can look at planets. You can do the night walking around. I'll give you a 2.
Stargazing with the PBS 14 is how I convinced my wife we needed night vision.
I know, and it is neat. It is. I'll give you that. But my God, man, I know so many people that $5,000 would be a seriously advantageous amount of money to suddenly find in their checking account. That spending $5,000 on night vision for me just isn't in the cards. It's not. I mean, heck, that would be a considerable portion of the bedroom renovation I'm doing. That would be most of it, actually, if not all of it.
I mean, like we said before, that's not unfair. Like, if you have adult things to spend money on, then you don't need to spend money on night vision.
If your retirement is not fully funded, you should not be buying night vision.
Okay, we have to discuss what fully funded means because...
For your age.
Okay.
For your age. If you are not to a point where your financial advisor says, no, you're on track, you're doing good, then you should not be spending $5,000 on night vision, in my opinion. Because look, you will probably never, I'm not going to say you never will, but you will not likely ever use night vision in self-defense.
Unlikely.
It's extremely unlikely. Might you use night vision in an aggressive situation? Yeah, I would argue that's far more likely than in self-defense.
Will you use it in the bedroom?
I would.
I would too, but I don't think
Mrs.
MOF is not swayed by such arguments.
Look, what was it? The average American is carrying $15,000 in credit card debt or something like that today. That's
I'm way at that.
Yeah, the average American is carrying $15,000 in credit card debt. If you are anywhere on that scale of carrying credit card debt, and I find out that you have bought night vision instead of paying off that interest-bearing debt, I will harass you in person and over the phone because it's costing you more money to just cost you more money.
You know, I related to someone just today that I actually don't own a single credit card, and they were shocked.
Look, I have a couple. We use them on and off. We use them for online shopping because it's easier to correct fraud on them. But we also never carry a balance on them. Yeah. So we use it functionally as a debit card, and that's how you should use it.
That is how you should be using it.
But look, some people don't. Some people get in over their head because they make poor decisions. Correct those poor decisions before you go buying fun stuff.
Fair. So,
Jim, that's a fair point. If you have enough Bass Pro rewards and Bass Pro sells night vision, which I don't know if they do, go forth and rewards points. I used my Cabela's rewards points to buy. What did I buy? Oh, my 870 Express combo, field and security combo. Yeah, and a case of shotgun rounds back in the day. I used my Cabela's points for that. And that was all points from gas. Because you got 2 points for gas, you got 5 points at Cabela's, and you got 1 point for everything else. But so just in gas points, I bought a shotgun. The guy at the checkout counter thought it was hilarious.
That's freaking outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this has been Rate/Roast My Shit Part 2. I mean, I tried my best. I tried my best not to pick stuff you'd already brought forward. I was trying to bring like a different flavor.
Fair enough.
Andrew has said he's going to make every attempt to join us next week for the 10th anniversary, and we're going to start with rating and roasting his stuff, followed by general tomfoolery and goofing off.
Yes.
I've heard people have been saying make it a 2-hour show. I mean,
we'll see how it goes.
I have to go to work the next day.
Yeah, me too. But that's what coffee's for. Coffee up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure out how to make it work. But the point is, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I never thought I'd still be podcasting after 10 years, but here we are, still having fun, and people still tune in and giggle at us. So
the having fun is the important part.
Having fun, I will be the first to admit, and we will talk about this at length, but like, I remember when I first started podcasting, I told Gillian and I told Andrew, and I'm pretty sure I told you too, the first day it's not fun, I quit.
That's fair, man. Why add more hassle to life than you already have?
I already have a full-time job. I don't do that for fun. I do that for money. If this becomes a full-time job, I don't want to do this too. Like, that's just two full-time
It's
jobs.
going to
Only
have
one
to
of them
be a
pays.
job.
Yeah. Only one of these two things pays me money to offset the pain in the ass it is. And this is not exactly paying me bare 50 cal money.
True.
It doesn't pay me like Magpul PMag money for that matter. So, you know.
As long as it's not a negative on the balance sheet. That's all that matters.
That is a point. Jeff Jag's going to roll us out. If you've never used night vision to peek at your girl naked, you failed the test. No, I haven't. I just leave the lights on and leave the night vision stowed.
Yeah. Way less bumping into shit.
Yeah, way less bumping into shit. Way less creepy, too.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, matter of fact, it's going to go out the door. Good night, everybody. Hope you tune in for the 10th anniversary next Thursday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. If you're not going to make it, I understand. You can just listen to this in the podcast on all your favorite podcast directories. You can watch it on YouTube or Facebook or Rumble at your leisure. And we'll talk to you another week. Bye, everybody.
Good night.